Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video. Today's topic is going to be about, again, dating. Recently I made a plateau or hit a plateau within myself, and to be completely honest, dating is one of those things where I want to go all in on, but I think about myself in the long term, and it's just, in these recent years, everything's kind of different than how it was in 2020, where we all started out with just believing like going to the gym and working out and working on looks maxing and all that stuff, like all the stuff that was hyped up to be back in 2020 when I used to watch people like Hamza, Cephas Cole, Awesome Dunham, FitX, and just the red pill pacing and all that stuff, and then the content that was behind it. I used to just be hyped just to figure out what more I could do, just to improve myself. But then all this was like kind of just working more on the outside and less of the inside, and it became more of a big flaw that kind of worked against me in its own nature. And I had to kind of like tell myself like, hey, like, you still got to work on the inside. But I was so caught up on just like how I look so I can just get at girls and stuff like that. And nowadays we kind of see like, behind the scenes of why looks maxing doesn't work fundamentally, and why it's just stupid, and people are kind of getting on it now, which I'm kind of glad to see that, because it really shifted. I said this in my other videos, but the red pill space, I can't say that word today for some reason. The that space has completely just changed, and it was different than how it was when I first started just getting into YouTube. And it was something where you watched it and then it made you motivated to go to the gym, make a change, and just look good. It was a promised journey at the end. It was something that was promised. Like, you worked hard towards something, and it was promised an outcome. And I think that's what kind of kept everybody going. That's what kept me going. And a lot of the times, I just really thought like at the end of the journey where it was going to be just you straight up just get you get more confident. You're able to get more girls, and you were able to kind of like just network and make more relationships, and just kind of get that, because a part of me when I was younger, I've always wanted to be that guy that always was able to get every girl, because I saw like someone else do it, and I saw people do it like in middle school, high school, and it's just like how comfortable and how confident and how less they had to try. And I can only like look from afar and kind of just study them, and I really just did the best I could for what I had. Of course, I got called names and stuff like that, and quirkiness for all you trying nerd and all that goofy stuff. Man, they used to cook my shit back in the day. It was just like kind of discouraged me from trying it. When I did get something, like when I was in high school, people were still clowning me, because it was just like, oh, why you get at that girl, bro? She ain't all that. Why are you trying? And even though it was like literally the best I could do, people were still getting on me about it. So it's just like, I gotta look at myself. At least I tried back then. But then I was doing all that stuff just to kind of, seem cool to people and be accepted in a way. And I kind of was falling in that same trap again, because with working out and then taking supplements just to kind of look, I was supposed attractive and all that stuff, just to kind of appease to the other side, and women and stuff like that. Like, I literally made this system where I have to take caffeine and change, like have my diet, and my whole lifestyle kind of revolved around just getting that energy so I can be able to gravitate. Like Duke Dennis and King Von, or King the Great, or 6'8" the Great, that big tall guy, where literally he just goes out in public and girls just literally come up to him and ask him for his number, and he is just like, he doesn't have to try. I've always wanted that, and I worked towards a point where, yeah, I had some success in the past with women, especially the ones I was attracted with, but it wasn't consistent. And I was so obsessed of just making something consistent at all times, so I didn't have to worry about it. And that was that obsession that kind of made me lose myself, because I wasn't really to a point where I wasn't happy with myself. I always noticed like I made progress with a lot of things. Like I made I was able to get in better shape. I was able to find new styles, become a little bit more healthier. But it wasn't me attracting a whole bunch of girls and stuff like that, like I've always wanted. And it kind of made me just realize, like, damn, am I really just doing this for myself or doing it for them? Because I got to a point where I'm more healthier, and to me, improved a lot of my style and how I put myself out there. And it's still it's not enough. It's not what I want. It's not what I imagine. I think because it's one of those things where like they say, your imagination is the worst thing. It makes something 10 times worse. My imagination makes things 10 times better than what it actually is. Like I would think like, oh, if you get this one thing, there will be nothing else. You have no problems. You'll be set for life. You'll be good. Nothing else you can worry about. But then once you actually get to that goal, it really isn't all to what it seems. And you end up feeling more disappointed and hollow and just like, damn, like, that's it. It's just disappointing. Like I remember I got myself to this point to being more healthier and, more and more fit and all that stuff. And it's just like that attraction part where, they come in and it's like, it's more easier and stuff like that. It's like it's not consistent. It's still more challenging. It's like I still feel that challenge. I don't feel that satisfied for that matter. And it's just it kind of made me question myself. Am I supposed to, do I look? I would think like, oh, do I look good, or do I, am I enough, and all that stuff. Just little ways like that. And it's different because my upbringing is just like the underdog because you got to have like that dog mentality. You always have to believe in yourself no matter what, because there are going to be people out there in life where they're going to get what they want easily, either be opportunities, sponsorships, obviously girls and just life friends and all. It's just life will be handed to these people, and then they didn't have to work. They didn't have to get called names and get challenged all the time. But then, like for my example, I don't know if you guys can relate to this too. You got to a point where you got what you wanted, but then it goes away, and then like you can't get it back. It's like getting a console to work, for only for it to like you play it normally, you take care of it, you do what you're supposed to do, and it just shuts off. Like every time you try to play the game, it shuts off. Literally, the red ring of death, and you're like, whoa, what happened? Like it worked before. Like you go back and you try to like, figure out, tinker a couple settings. And then sometimes you're able to play the game just for a little bit, like probably for like 5-10 minutes or something like that. And, it shuts off again and it doesn't work. And you like scratch your head like, whoa, it was working before. Why isn't it working now? And then the more you try to like fix on it, the less and less you start to like have patience and faith in yourself. And you start seeing that dwindle away as time goes on. And you just kind of look at yourself like, damn, like, maybe I wasn't meant to be. Maybe it wasn't meant to have this thing because I can't keep it consistent. It's just hard for me to do so. So that's what it, kind of boiled down to me because it's just like I had something going and then I lost it. And then it's just like me trying to retrieve that same thing back where I had. Because I always compare it to my younger self where when I didn't have my shit together, when I didn't have a lot of opportunities, when I wasn't at my best and I was kind of just all over the place, I was able to pull a lot more and be a little bit more happier with that. And, of course, the times are different. It was like, it was like 1920. So I was just chasing after girls and stuff like that. But now it's just like, okay, like I have, something good. I work towards a lot of things and it's just like, it's a lot more difficult than what it should be. And, it's just kind of got to my point, like, my progression and where I'm at and stuff like that in life, even with a lot of other things like making friends and doing things and just like, it's still there. Like, it's like muscle memory. Like if you've done something before, even though it has been a while, muscle memory is going to come back just like that. But it's just like those opportunities aren't really there. And you really have to, I had to like see what I'm doing, kind of go from there. Am I putting myself in a, position for that in life? And which I am. I do the most I can with it, but it's just the interactions aren't the same. Just going towards the goals I want to go for. It's just something shifted and something isn't the same. It's not the same as it used to be. So I have to really like take a step back and figure out like, okay, am I meant to go this direction or am I meant to go somewhere else? And not to give up entirely. I don't say give up, never give up, but kind of just take a pause, rest here. Like if you ever play Dark Souls or in the Star Wars Fallen Order games, just take a rest. Just chill for the moment, kind of get your stats together, and kind of figure out what to do to continue on the journey, and just kind of figure out how to level up and get to the next thing. Because just a little setback, life happens, a little setback. But yeah, that's basically where my mind space been at. Yeah, I've just been seeing dating videos and stuff like that, and me being my 20s and stuff like that. Hopefully, I can help out. Because I'm at a point where I'm just trying to get my life together and just doing the best I can with what I have, and pretty much every other guy is too. I'm pretty sure you are too if you're listening. But wherever you guys are at, just keep going. Just take the time to rest. Don't go too crazy. Don't be like Vegeta when he was like in the Cell Saga Z, just pushing it. Because I think that was me. I was pushing it. Like I was obviously hurt, distraught, like fatigued, exhausted, and I just kept pushing with injuries, and I just kept pushing. The more you push with an injury, the more you're gonna hurt yourself, and you're gonna start tearing and breaking and shit, and you're not gonna be able to kind of recover after that. You're gonna tear something, and then when you tear something, good luck trying to recover after that. You're gonna be put out even longer. So if you're obviously hurt mentally with something, just take the time to kind of take a step back and figure out to come back stronger. Of course, you can try to work that muscle in some way, but don't overstrain yourself. It's not worth it. With anything you try to do, just take the time, take notes, and come back stronger. But thank you guys for listening. You guys have a good one. Make sure you like and subscribe, please, and peace.